Base is dropped on Thursday Thoughts here on Soccer's Morning Show. And because the show is so stacked, I can't waste any time. I'm in the mountains. I'm in a second house in 3 days. Everything is fine. And hanging out with us, Carlos Rubio, after how late of a night was it for you last night with a win? How late of a night was it, Carlos? There he is.
There we go. In progress of the life.
No worries. How late of a night was it for you last night?
What's that, sorry?
How late of a night was it for you?
Hasn't finished yet, John. The night hasn't finished. It's just we went from the moon to the sun, but it's still in the same place.
And you get the win last night in the opening round of the NPSL Conference semifinals in the Southeast. We've talked about how heavy it is and how crowded it is and how competitive it is. Break down the match last night for those that didn't get the chance to see it.
Just a fantastic environment. Just another great night of soccer here in Hickory. Really two good teams going at each other. From the start, you could tell that there was a lot to play for. Both teams took about 5 to 10 minutes to get into the swing of things. I think the context played a big factor of that. But after that, the boys got a grip of the game. We played really well, probably one of the best games of the season so far, and dominated for most of it. But congrats to Apotheos. They play a great game of soccer. Working, trying to come back in the game. So yes, a testament to their coach. And
this is what happens when you're in the mountains. When both of us are in the mountains. I know it's a testament to Apotheos, absolutely. So with everything that has gone on this season, let me ask you this. Has there been for those that may not have been a part of previous conversations, is there a player or players that have been pleasant surprises for you, or what has been the most pleasant surprise this season about what you've gone through?
In terms of players, to be quite frank, there has not been many surprises because we knew exactly what we were getting, and we were very thorough with the guys that we were bringing in, making sure that they were the right characters for what we're trying to build as a club. And then obviously as players, we've seen most of them, if not all, play live before bringing them here. So we had a fairly good idea of what we were going to get in terms of players. But what it's been the most enjoyable, pleasant, and it made every day just a joy, is the camaraderie that we were able to build from day one. The boys have got together as a unit, as a band of brothers. They've been fighting ups and downs, no any issue, no lacks of desire, togetherness. So that's what we've been very, very pleased with. It's just the level of togetherness that has been around the team since day one.
How difficult is it knowing that you play in the midweek and then you have to play again on the weekend? How difficult a turnaround is that going to be?
Yeah, it's challenging. Obviously, bodies are tired, little knocks here and there, but at the end of the day, we're all in the same boat. And I mean, when you get to this stage, in the context itself, and especially on Saturday, playing for a trophy, that push you over the line. So obviously, boys are gonna need a couple of days to recover, but I got no doubt that when it gets to Saturday, they're gonna have 100% energy, desire, and fight to bring that trophy home.
Carlos Rubio, head coach of Hickory FC, joining us bright and early as we can see blue skies hanging out there as Hickory's getting ready for their matchup against Appalachian FC on the weekend for the NPSL Southeast Conference Championship. You mentioned rest and recovery. What about for coaches? How difficult is it for coaches in this situation to have a quick turn and study and be prepared and not get bogged down by the pressure? And, you know, maybe is it all universal? Is it just coffee IVs now? I mean, how does this work?
I think it's more difficult for our families than for us, because in the next 48 hours we're gonna be pretty busy. But at the end of the day, this is why we do it. This is what we love. Obviously, we know App. We play them twice. Know Dale Parker really well, a really well coached team. It's gonna be another fantastic night. So the next 48 hours is just more on us, more on how we prepare the game. We know what App is gonna bring, and it's how we can prepare best ourselves. So we are as ready as possible for Saturday night. So a lot of film on us, couple things on App, but yeah, the focus is completely on Hickory FC.
There are times when App FC they want to grind this down. They want to be physical. They want to make sure that you're the one making the mistakes. They want to turn this into what, when we were kids, we used to have the staring contests to figure out who would blink first. A lot of the time, I think that's what Dale likes to do and turns these into staring contests. How do you not blink first in a very physical match?
We're ready. We're ready, John. Only we got a very experienced team. Like you said a second ago, and I said earlier, they're a very well coached team. Dale is a fantastic coach, and they got a lot of history on the NPSL. So they've got that, but we got that young desire, I guess, that new to the block kind of desire to lift that trophy, and that's gonna push us over the line. That's gonna help us win that stern contest that you were referring to. It's just that desire to achieve something and put our name in the history books.
What have you learned about yourself as a coach this season?
Oof, that's a great question. A lot of things. Obviously, in my short years of coaching, only coaching at the collegiate level, it was going to be very interesting to see if our way of running a team, if our way of recruiting, if our way of if our just game module and the characters that we try to bring. The question is, can we be successful at a different level? Can we be successful at a more like semi-pro level, not just college? And that's the one thing that we learned, to that if you recruit good character, good people, and you put the right pieces in the right places, then magic things happen. At the end of the day, character wins.
All right, give me the look of what's going on there on campus. Give me the quick 360, because I see blue skies behind you. So give me the panoramic shot here before we get out.
You got it.
Okay, so all right, you're on the curb. No one is making sure that you can cross the street if you need to. That's excellent. Nicely done. So travel plans to go from Hickory to Boone. What's it looking like?
Yeah, it's a fairly short drive, so we'll plan to practice obviously today, tomorrow, and then a short drive on the Saturday evening to be there for 5 o'clock or so. So obviously we know the area, we know the pitch, we know where we go exactly. So there is no confusion there. So it's gonna be a nice night, and we just can't wait to be part of that environment.
One more question for you. The fan support that showed up on social media last night, and how everybody showed up and showed out for you. What's it been like to see this train for Hickory FC and the fan support there at Lenore Rhine be what it's been for you this year?
Yeah, it's been second to none. Obviously, like I said before, we average in like 3,000, 3,200 fans per game, which is incredible. But not just the number, it's just the quality of our fans. Last night, out of all the games, and obviously the context plays a factor, but of all the games that our fans were on our side, they pushed us over the lines. It was loud, it was rowdy, it was fun. So they've been fantastic, and what made me extremely proud after the game is I turned around and there was about 40 kids kicking soccer balls on the field, and it was like 10:30 p.m. almost. So it was just really proud to see how the community is embracing the sport, and especially the youth community in Hickory.
If you had a question for Dale is coming on after you. If you had a question for Dale, what would your question be?
Oof, it's a very good question from you. Well, we did say at the start of the season when we played our friendly game, just in May, we both said that it would be incredible if we could make this game a final at the end of the season and fight for the conference against one another. So my question will be if he's still feeling the same way I am. So excited for Saturday.
Okay, good deal. When Dale comes on in short order, I will ask him that. Get to practice, get your coffee, get your breakfast. Thanks for dropping by, especially after the win on the quick turn against Apotheos there in the semifinals. Be safe, my friend. Be well. Good luck this weekend against App. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you, John, and congrats to Dale and App FC.
All right, so that's Carlos Rubio, the head coach of Hickory FC. That's half of the equation, and this is how busy we're going to be this morning. I had to bring Coach Rubio in off the top. That's how busy we are. Dale Parker, the head coach of App FC, he's going to be joining us coming up in just a little bit. Bart Keeler, and so, of course, at 6:30 last night, U.S. Soccer announces that Greg Berhalter's tenure is now complete at U.S. Soccer, and so we're going to catch up with Bart at 9:30, and we're going to find out the lay of the land from the Soccer for USPOD perspective. 10 o'clock, it is our buddy Nino Torres from Gold TV, and we're going to talk about what happened last night in Charlotte and everything that went on with it. And by the way, FS2 is doing a public service for all of us. They're doing a public service for all of us. They are re-showing the match with Colombia and Uruguay. And by the way, Colombia just scored. So they started it, I want to say they started it like at 8:30. So, yes, it was a cracker of a match, as they say. So, yes, if you want to have a multi-screen experience, then you may by doing it, having FS2 on whatever screen you want and us on the other screen. So we're going to talk about all of the aspects of the Copa with Nino at 10 o'clock. Then our buddy Nico Moreno was there. He was on Atlanta Soccer Tonight last night after the match was over, but he was in Charlotte, as was our Jessica Charman, and he got to see A, the match, B, all of the after stuff. And so we'll be getting into a lot of the Copa in the 10 o'clock hour and how I think that this particular match, if you did not have any idea about what Copa America means to these respective nations and what it means to be a part of all of this, then I think this was the example of what the Copa can be for everybody. So, my bracket had Argentina. I think I had Argentina and Uruguay in my final, and I still have to go with Argentina because you can't change your point of view in the middle of a tournament. But as the timing has gone, Colombia has just scored a couple minutes ago on the corner kick from James, whose value, by the way, is probably going up astronomically for Sao Paulo FC. And so, tremendous stuff last night with the Uruguay and Colombia. I don't think you could have had a more electric crowd. And there were published reports. There were articles like in The Athletic and stuff that said that basically the match felt like it was more in Medellin than it was at times in Charlotte. But Charlotte got a great match last night, and they're going to get the third place game. So Uruguay is going to stay in town, and they are going to be in the third place match against Canada, and it's going to be Colombia and Argentina. And they're okay. So now, as things have proceeded, we have just gotten the pinch and the elbow, and we're going to get the red card in real time here coming up in just a little bit as the FS2 viewing experience continues. By the way, and Tom will be discussing all of that too with what happened after the match and all of that. So it will be definitely a big part of the discussion in hour number 2, and it will be. Then that's what I figured. I figured that Nico might be on a plane, and so he just literally is texting as we go. So Nico can't join us at 10:30. That's so I figured he's going to be mid-flight, and he said what I figured might be the case. So So we may have our buddy Nino on for a little bit more than just a half hour. But so Nico's mid-flight, not a surprise. But we just had the yellow and the red, and Darwin and Munoz sitting there going, "Well, he pinched me," and no, that's not the case. So it'll be Bart at 9:30, Nino at 10, and we'll probably go a little long with Nino at 10 o'clock. We'll take him past 9:30. But it was great to have Nico and Jess on last night. So we'll see what's going on. Let me see if I can tape something with Nico. Nothing like doing live radio here. So we can tape something. Let's see. When do you land? We can tape something. And so we'll do that with Nico. So Nico will be a tape piece that'll be on the network later today. But obviously, coming up bottom of the hour, it's going to be a discussion with Bart about everything going on involving the U.S. men's national team and what is up with all of that stuff, man, all of that. So it's going to be a busy show, very, very busy show. Yeah, and Emilio, right? They don't have grass either. I got to figure out the whole situation here, but yeah, it looks like they had the grass put in as well. And like I said, we'll get into all of the family stuff. We'll get into the post-match stuff. We'll get into all of it. But busy show, waiting on Dale Parker to drop by and see if he can hang out with us for a couple of minutes, and then we'll have Bart carry us to the top of the hour. And then after that, Nino, and then we'll fill the rest of the time with what we can. We'll tape something with Nico, and we'll post that to the network later today. Yeah, so normally turf, but it looks like it was put down very, very well. You don't see any ruts or anything like that. There aren't a whole lot of divots, but you do see the wear that's been given. But yes, Columbia is now down to 10 players. We're at 48 minutes and such. So that's where we are this morning. Had to bring in Carlos Rubio. Like I said, we're efforting Dale Parker and seeing if Dale can be anywhere near what's going on. Let's see. All right, so let me text Dale really quickly, and ready for. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we got Dale Parker, but yes, so that's the rundown this morning. That's how chaotic we are right now. It's like, okay, are folks on planes? Can they drop by? All of this kind of stuff. But we have a lot of stuff to get into this morning. Obviously, 6:30 last night, U.S. Soccer decided officially to send Greg Berhalter on his way. Like I said, that'll be with Bart coming up in just a little bit. Then we'll get into the Copa. We'll get into all of the after effects of the Copa. And like I said, we've got news this morning. We'll get into that at 10:30, plus anything else that's on your mind going from 10:30 till 11 o'clock, and we can do it then. Or that's a good idea, John. So, and so we can do that. We can even end with Dale now that we had Nico be on a plane, so we can do. Oh, okay. So, all right. So Dale Parker is going to join us for like 5 minutes, which is all we really need. So that's good. All right. So Dale will join us. I'll get his question that I got from Carlos Rubio. Nothing like having to juggle chainsaws and live guests and things. So we'll catch up with Dale for like 5 minutes and then get ready for the whole thing. And so we are now officially at the half in the FS2 watch along after the red card. Hamas is wondering what in the wide world of sports is going on. Why'd you give the red? Well, you can't elbow somebody after they pinch you. That's the bottom line. You cannot elbow someone after they pinch you. And yeah, and so we'll get into that too. Will, about Burhatler, I guess. I was trying to figure out how to pronounce that. Morning, Alex. Morning, Abby. Morning, Ropes. Morning, Will. Morning to the two bots that joined us early this morning. Morning, Ropes. Morning, Tom. And morning, Emilio. And yes, relieved of duties. Fired. Yes, however you want to phrase it. So once the signal behaves, here comes Dale. And good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah. So how much sleep did you get?
Oh, not a lot. It's a long night. It's a long day, let alone a long night.
Carlos had a question for you, and I will have you put a question into the ether for Carlos. Carlos said that at the start of the season, when you guys had a friendly back in May, the conversation that you guys had with one another, I think that there was an agreement that this matchup that's coming up this weekend would be incredible for a final in the conference. Carlos wanted to know if you still felt the same way.
Yeah, 100%. I think subconsciously throughout the course of the season, I feel like, Hickory and ourselves have been the two teams that are pushing and have got this goal in mind to play in a final. And in my opinion, the two best teams in the conference. I know Apotheos had a really, really good run there from the middle of the season towards the end. They just kind of dropped off right at the end. But I think it's going to be a fantastic final. What I like about it is two local teams, from an area where soccer hasn't always been, the top dog in terms of the sports, and it's just going to be a great spectacle for everybody involved, the players, the staff, but more importantly the fans, because that's what's most important, I think, if we want to grow this game and push it forward.
Last night it was goalless after 45, and you ended up getting the win. What was the conversations like in a rivalry match? I will go ahead and call it a derby. What were the conversations like at the half to get the result?
I think we just had to stay calm. I don't think I've ever seen a team create as many chances as we did in that first 45 minutes. The fact that we haven't put the game away, is almost baffling. When we watched it back a little bit this morning, and we've had 4 players have 2 clear-cut chances each. So it's 8 clear-cut chances in 45 minutes, and we should have had the game put away. And then we tried to keep everybody from losing their heads at halftime. I think it's easy at that moment, to start thinking, what do we have to do to score, and start trying things that potentially you wouldn't normally try. But the key was keep calm, keep doing the same things. Don't necessarily rely on a 25, 30 yard strike from out of nowhere. That's a low percentage opportunity. Let's keep trying to forge opportunities from our football. And don't give up anything in transition. And I think the boys did a good job of that. We lost a little bit of belief when the 90 minutes came up and we had to do it in extra time. But, the 2 goals we scored in extra time were obviously good ones and put the game away.
So if you had a question for Carlos as he listens to this segment back, what would your question for Carlos be?
What formation is he going to play? No, I think the biggest question would be, I don't really know actually what kind of question I would have. I think everybody would have assumed that we would be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. Maybe what color is he going to wear on the sidelines? Because we tend to wear the same colors.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll send that note to Carlos and I'll text him on it. How difficult is it this time of year with the elevated importance of a match, this being a conference final, the quick turnaround for both coaches and for players? I know that you guys might look at a little bit of film on your opposition, focusing on yourselves because of quick turnarounds. It's like, look, there's too much stuff on the table. We'll trim some stuff away. We'll focus on ourselves. And then that way, we can do that. We don't want to widen everything that we have to have on responsibilities. How difficult is it for coaches and players this time of year for a quick turn?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's not ideal. You'd like an extra day at least to get a proper training session. And I think that's the trickiest thing. We won't really get to train. Today's going to be a heavy recovery day. Most of our 18 that were in the squad last night, 17 of them played. And 15 or 16 of them had substantial minutes. So today's going to be heavy recovery without much focus on the game at all, just trying to get them fresh again. And then tomorrow is a pre-game, so we'll get one day really to look at things tactically as a team. Obviously as a staff we'll be a little bit more prepared because we've got more time to look at those sort of things. But in terms of conveying that message to the players, it will just be tomorrow. And like you said there, I think a large piece of it has to be focusing on ourselves and making sure we get the right mix of players and the right shape on the pitch against a very, very good opposition. But but there'll have to be a touch of what Hickory can bring to the table as well, and we give that to the players. So it is difficult, but that is knockout football at this time of the season. It will be for whichever teams are fortunate enough to advance. It will continue to be Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So you're not going to get much time in between games, and that's just the nature of the beast. So I think we have a pretty good process between these Wednesday, Saturday games. We proved that at the end of the regular season. When we travelled on the road to the two longest trips that we had, and we navigated those really well. So we've got a good process. So we're going to execute that as best we can, and hopefully we put it all into action on Saturday.
What time's kickoff at Ted Mackerel Saturday night?
7 o'clock here in the mountains. Get here early because there won't be any parking. I can tell you that.
Get your second or third cup of coffee or go back to sleeping and napping. And thanks again for hopping on the morning show, especially the night after a big win. Be safe, my friend. We will be following on the weekend. We'll catch up with you soon.
Sounds good, John. Thanks for having us again.